Yeah. I would like to talk on the new horizon of sustainable development and integral humanism. Dr. J.C. Kumarappa and Deen Dayal Upadhyaya. Okay. You see, in 2018, Professor Girishan and Professor Jeevan Kumar and myself, we edited a special volume of Gandhi Mark to highlight the academic contributions of Dr. J.C. Kumarappa. See what happened. Then what we noticed, very interesting kind of observations. As students of democracy and decentralization, we have noticed, we stand for Professor Girishan, Professor Jeevan Kumar and myself have identified some common threads in the perspectives of Dr. J.C. Kumarappa and Deen Dayal Upadhyaya. It's a very interesting, we could see that there are some kind of common threads. The natural order idea advanced by Dr. J.C. Kumarappa and the integral humanism idea advocated by Deen Dayal Upadhyaya are in some ways aimed at bringing harmony at all levels of individuals, underline, groups, institutions, state, society, and nature. Kumarappa and Deen Dayal Upadhyaya need to be critically analyzed by students of decentralization for transcending the political overtones it may have given to the Deen Dayal Upadhyaya's association with Janasangh is fine. It would only be fair that academicians, researchers, and activists analyze the discourse in an objective and balanced manner so that all ideas that contribute to Gandhian school of alternative development could be identified and brought together. You see, what I would like to say that there, in the academic circles, so far there is no serious effort to understand the contributions of Dr. J.C. Kumarappa and Deen Dayal Upadhyaya and try to find out the common threads. We could identify very interesting a few common threads in this particular contributions of these two political philosophies. You see that there, this is one side, you can see that there the economy of permanence is a classical work of Dr. J.C. Kumarappa, and he is actually the green Gambian. That is what their professor Amir, the Guha actually addressed J.C. Kumarappa as the green Gambian. I would like to also say that there he is the father of environmental economics. And the other side, you can see that there the photograph of Deen Dayal Upadhyaya, integral humanism, and analysis of social, and analysis of some basic elements. You see these things there. See what we try to present here, you see the early life. First, you take the Deen Dayal Upadhyaya, born on 25th September 1960 at Madurai, UP, in an orthodox, devoted Hindu family. Lost both parents when he was 8 years old. excelled in academic. That is what they are. The Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyaya. When we address Deen Dayal Upadhyaya is Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyaya. That Pandit came from the excellence, his excellence in academic. He died at the age of 52 in February 1968. You see the other side of J.C. Kumarappa, born on January 4th, 1892, in the southern part of India, in Madras Presidency, Tamil Nadu, in an Orthodox Christian family. Father was in government service, and his mother, I would like to stress that point, a very strong Christian and very strong Christian faith. That made some kind of influence on the thinking of J.C. Kumarappa, and died at the age of 62. Deen Dayal Upadhyaya died at the age of 52, and J.C. Kumarappa died at the age of 68. Now, we see that this is a very early departure in that sense. This is what the early life of two great scholars. You see their education. Deen Dayal Upadhyaya completed a BA from Dharma College, Kanpur, and Masters in English at St. John's College, Agra, but he could not complete his education due to some financial crisis. See, whereas Dr. J.C. Kumarappa, a graduate and postgraduate in economics and chartered accountancy, he practiced from Britain. He did PhD in economics and business administration from Columbia University, USA. Here also one important point is that there, Dr. Ambedkar and Dr. J.C. Kumarappa did their dissertations under a professor from the same university. See, this is you can see that the education of Deen Dayal Upadhyaya and J.C. Kumarappa. And you see, look into their career. It's also interesting. Deen Dayal Upadhyaya joined RSS when he was 21 years old. Full-time worker when he was 26. He started a monthly journal, Rashtriya Dharma, to promote Hindu ideology. And he became the General Secretary in 1951 and President of Bharatiya Jana Sangh in 1967. You see, this is the career path of Deen Dayal Upadhyaya. It's very interesting case. Whereas J.C. Kumarappa, what he did, he practiced as a chartered accountant in Bombay, and he developed a team of chartered accountants and developed a company of chartered accountants in Bombay. But before, this I'm talking about before meeting Gandhi. He met Gandhi in 1929, changed the entire scenario of J.C. Kumarappa, shifted his focus to rural economics and rural development and rural industries. And meanwhile, with the advice of Mahatma Gandhi, he became a professor at Gujarat Vidyapith, and he edited Young India. And whereas Deen Dayal Upadhyaya, he also started a monthly journal of Rashtriya Dharma, whereas he edited a journal, it is known as Young India, involved all India Village Industries Association throughout the country, and very particularly in Tamil Nadu and Rajasthan and other states, his contribution there. This is what the career path of these two intellectuals. And writings, You see that there we have already talked that there I have already shown that picture of integral humanism. That is what there the major contribution of Deen Dayal Upadhyaya. And Samrat Chandragupta is another interesting work from the Deen Dayal Upadhyaya. You see the J.C. Kumarappa, very interesting and classical work on, it is on economy of permanence. And of course, Christianity is another work, and economy and way of life, apart from number of other books, including the economics of cow from J.C. Kumarappa. These are the writings. Philosophical contributions, you see that there, Deen Dayal Upadhyaya side, holistic development. You see his integral humanism is nothing but I would say that there it is holistic development. A new concept he introduced in integral humanism. And Andodhya, that is another concept. I think there's no need for any further explanation on that concept. Cultural roots, he tried to identify in the Indian cultural roots. Cultural national values. Swadeshi, decentralization, social justice, dharma, self-reliance, and finally, I would like to say that there is major thrust on anti-colonialism, some kind of decolonialism in the entire writings. We can see that there all the concepts are highly integrated into the concept of anti-colonialism. Come to Professor Dr. J.C. Kumarappa, sustainable development, environmental stewardship, self-sufficiency, simple living, decentralized economy and decentralization, harmony with nature, Swadeshi, local empowerment, interesting green Gambian. That is what Professor Guha addressed. J.C. Kumarappa is a green Gandhian, and of course, anti-colonialism. You see, the interesting point I would like to highlight, we can see that they're both J.C. Kumarappa and Deen Dayal Upadhyaya born and brought up in a different kind of environment. One is from a very, very orthodox Hindu family. The other side, similarly, orthodox Christian family. Education, what happened? Deen Dayal Upadhyaya is fully a product of the Indian education system. Whereas J.C. Kumarappa had gone to England, did his PhD, coming back, and started a farm at Bombay. Then he joined the Gambian movement. And you see that there the what is important, the J.C. Kumarappa's major contribution and Deen Dayal Upadhyaya's contribution. From that contribution, we can see that there some amount of very strong convergence on these things. Holistic development and also sustainable development, both are one and the same. And cultural roots, decentralization, Swadeshi, social justice, self-reliance, local economy, economic development, green economy, green Gambian ideology, simple living, self-sufficiency, all you can see that there are very, very, very strong kind of relationship with the philosophical contributions of Deen Dayal Upadhyaya and J.C. Kumarappa. Sometimes it is very, very difficult to distinguish these philosophical contributions of these two giants. This is very interesting. So from the different socioeconomic background, they born and brought up, their education, their career, their contributions, and finally the point is that there at the philosophical contribution, you can see that there is a very, very strong correlation between these two scholars and their contributions, conceptual work. This is what the major point I would like to highlight here. This is there. Okay, then we can have a few more slides I will just present. See, J.C. Kumarappa's natural order, what is that? The notion of natural order or economy of permanence. Economy of permanence is nothing but kind of a natural order of economy. As proposed by J.C. Kumarappa, supports the development of a society that coexists with nature, focusing on the use of renewable resources and sustainable methods instead of engaging in unsustainable economic growth and depletion of natural resources. This is what there. This is actually, we could find out. This is what there, Chatukulam Mandital, myself, Professor Girishan and Jeevan Kumar, we could argue that this is the major point. Kumarappa, I already mentioned that they are close associates of Mahatma Gandhi, and his ideas were rooted in Gandhian principles of non-violence, self-reliance, and social justice. A pioneer of rural economic development theories and championed the cause of rural India. Advocated for decentralizing production and distribution to create a more equitable and sustainable society. This is what they. This is actually the crux of J.C. Kumarappa's on the economy of permanence. You can see that there he advocated the decentralized kind of production and production process and the distribution to create a more equitable and sustainable society. Yeah. You see, J.C. Kumarappa's natural order, again, I want to say, Kumarappa believed that the only social order was one that he called the economy of permanence, wherein human beings are content to live in harmony with nature, to meet their needs without disturbing the natural pattern of growth and renewal. This is what the major contribution of economy of permanence by J.C. Kumarappa. You can see that there is a kind of, that is what this is actually the natural order and the harmony with the nature to meet the production process. And that is also a kind of a natural pattern of growth and regrowth. That is what the growth and renewal. The vision of economy of permanence could best be realized through a decentralized model of economic planning based on the concept of village as a basic unit and core concept of self-sufficient unit with optimum usage and application of local resources. This is what the basic philosophical understanding of decentralization and decentralized model of economic planning and decentralized model of the production. This is what they very clearly he mentioned this. Come to Deen Dayal Upadhyaya. Upadhyaya's concept of integral humanism presents a philosophy that prioritizes the comprehensive development of every facet of human life, including material, underlying, intellectual, spiritual, and physical elements. So integral humanism, he could bring materialism, a fundamental difference between the Marxian concept of development that is fully depend on the material part. But here, look that there the beauty of integral humanism integrated in a balanced form of material, intellectual, spiritual, and physical elements. What more there is there to add? See, integral humanism approach aims to harmonize the relationship between, again, individuals, between individual and individuals. On one side, between individuals, that kind of integral, that kind of relationship between individuals and individuals as a whole, with society, the universe, and all living being deeply rooted in the Indian cultural tradition. This is one very, very interesting point. He could bring these things based on the Indian philosophical foundation. That is what their Indian cultural foundation and tradition. Integral humanism fundamentally positions a harmonious relationship between individuals, society, and universe, with the supreme authority being paramount. Again, according to Upadhyaya, each nation possesses unique cultural and societal core principles referred to as Vidhi, while every society exhibits distinct characteristics known as Vidhi. The core of integral humanism lies in the continuous interaction and integration of these diverse facets of human existence. Very beautiful, a kind of linkage between the diverse facets of human existence. See that there, J.C. Kumarappa's natural order and Deen Dayal Upadhyaya's integral humanism, there are some common threads in the perspective of J.C. Kumarappa and Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyaya. But nobody could see and work on this particular issue of the common threads. The natural order advocated by Kumarappa and integral humanism by Upadhyaya in some ways aimed at bringing harmony or at the levels of individual, groups, institutions, state, society, and nature. Both the same kind of a level of harmonious linkage, associationship. One can see that there. It would only be fair that academicians, researchers, activists analyze these courses in an objective and balanced manner, so that all ideas that contribute to Gandhian school of alternative development could be identified and brought together. Kumarappa and Upadhyaya framework, I would like to say that this is the Kumarappa and Upadhyaya framework, philosophical foundation framework, can be used for achieving integral development, sustainable development goals, social healing, and a new way of life, thereby generating new horizons of social theorizing, social transformation, and planetary realizations. See, I would like to say that there, if we really want to attain all the sustainable goals, so my appeal is that there, academicians, social scientists, and policymakers try to revisit the contributions of Deen Dayal Upadhyaya and J.C. Kumarappa and try to get it their understanding and philosophical contributions and build it, the foundation. Then it will be, it is relatively easy to achieve the sustainable development goals. Otherwise, it is very, very difficult to attain the sustainable development goals. The sustainable development goals philosophical roots are there with Jesse Kumarappa and Dean Dayaluda. Again, I'm coming back. The positions we three, Professor Girishan and Professor Jivan Kumar and myself, in almost 4 years back, we made the statement that as students of democracy, I would like to read, as students of democracy and decentralization, we have identified, already I mentioned that there are some common threads. The natural order idea advocated by both these scholars in some ways aimed at bringing harmony at the levels of individuals, groups, institutions, state, society, and nature. See, I would like to bet it may not be fair to use that word in social science. That is unfortunately what happened. We try to understand these two philosophers in a tightly watertight kind of compartment. And why? Because of these ideological overtones. Not the ideological overtones of these philosophers, but the ideological overtones of we the people, we academicians, we policymakers, we politicians fail to try to understand these two philosophers and try to link with their contributions of this particular aspect. My point is that it is an objective and balanced manner so that all ideas that contribute to the Gandhian school of alternative development could be identified and brought together. In that context, I think a new school of Gandhian alternative development seriously look the contributions of these two philosophers and their classical work on integral humanism and the economics of permanence. I would like to stop here and thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, Professor Chapukulam, for your presentation, for bringing Kumarappa and Upadhyay together. So as our other friends are joining the conversation, so I wish to submit a few for consideration. For example, on the issue of decentralization, while Kumarappa perspective is also perspective on state, because RSS and their ideological position is very much state determining. It gives a primacy to state and Rashtrabad. What is the notion of nation state, and the added challenge of plurality and the issue of secularism. Upadhyay's perspective on integral education, humanism, the very integral, does he refer to Sri Aurobindo, for example, the whole integral yoga and integral development from Sri Aurobindo. And Sri Aurobindo was a critic of both socialism and market liberalism. And that way, what might be a possible dialogue between Kumarappa and Sri Aurobindo, because Kumarappa's focus on economy of permanence, which also has a spiritual dimension, though the spiritual dimension of economy of permanence has not been explored enough. But today, economy of permanence has to be explored in the context of its spiritual dimension. So economy of permanence is just a static model. Permanence is static, but economy is a dynamic process. What Schumpeter taught about the dynamics of creative destruction, or the whole evolutionary dynamics of economics. Sri Aurobindo also talks about evolutionary dynamics. So my query is that Kumarappa's economy of permanence, is it a static model or it is a dynamic process? If it is a dynamic process, how does it include the evolutionary dynamics? And so that economic permanence is also the whole idea of permanence also has to deal with the notion of impermanence. And that impermanence means that things are impermanent and they also vanish away in the social dynamics. And the whole question of interreligious dialogue also, because Kumarappa coming from a Christian background, and what was his approach to interreligious dialogue and also his approach to secularism? Because Kumarappa begins with a faith-based approach, but his faith is not closed. Similarly, the query is that comes from a Hindu background, he joins RSS, and whether Upadhyaya follows a process of open faith, and what is his approach to interreligious harmony and dialogue. So I request your consideration. After this, Minati would nurture the further conversation. Please. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Anantbhai. Professor Jose Chattukulam can take the note of the questions, gather few thoughts and reflections, then we can invite you to, at the last, to share your own answers.
Okay, fine.
So,
that is good. That is good. Please.
Can I come in?
So may I request now Professor Ganluiji to share some of his reflections and thoughts. Professor Ganluiji, please.
Yes. Yes, thank you very much. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me? Because I am not sure
Yes,
that.
yes, you are very much
Yes, okay.
audible. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I was reflecting because over the past days I had the opportunity to deal again with Gandhi's Hind Swaraj, and also in particular with those chapters in which Gandhi is polemizing against the industry, or anyway, so for instance, the last but one, I think, machinery, and I was wondering about the presuppositions of Gandhi, because I think that there are different presuppositions. Of course, in Ind Swaraj, Gandhi speaks very much about the moral crisis which has allowed the Britons to take power over India. That is when he says, actually, it's our fault as Indians if the Britons are dominating us, because we had previously these moral crisis, spiritual crisis, loss of God, loss of spiritual values, which, so to speak, exposed us to the modern culture, which is without spiritual values. And of course, in this crisis, there is also the attention for material gains, and in this scheme, Gandhi seems to interpret also the attention for the industry, for at least a certain direction for the industry. But I was wondering while reading it was whether in Gandhi and also in the authors which have been mentioned now, there could be also a different interpretation of economy. That is, that they are all, in a way or other, bound and tied to the tradition of the physiocrats in France in the 18th century, because the tradition of the physiocrats is in France in opposition to the emergence of industry, and a greater interest for the agriculture as the first way to produce richness in a country, to produce welfare in a country, and also to produce jobs which have really a fundament in the cycles of the economy. And I was wondering while reading Hind's Barrage again, whether these component could be also present in Gandhi, and whether these components could be also present in the now in the authors which have been mentioned. If I am not mistaken, one of the points of separation or distance between, for instance, Gandhi and Nehru was about the future development of India, because Gandhi was rather for an agricultural development as the first attention of economic development for India, whereas Nehru was more attentive, paid more attention to the industry. These they had two different models before eyes about the way in which India should have an economic development. Therefore, well, in synthesis, I was wondering, and it is my question also, in which measure it could be spoken of a new interpretation of the positions of the physiocrats in France throughout the thought of Gandhi, and throughout also the thought of the persons, the two valiant researchers who have been mentioned now during the brilliant exposition of Professor Chatukulam. I thank you very much. It was very, very interesting, of course. It was very, very interesting. And I'm very deeply interested in these subjects because I myself am trying to reinterpret Indvaraj or Swaraj of Gandhi. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now I see the raised hand that somebody's name is user. Please introduce yourself on mute. Introduce yourself and you can add.
Yes.
Share
I'm Dr.
your
Girishan. I'm Dr. Girishan because my system
Okay.
audio is not working. That's why I joined through mobile.
Okay.
Can
Please
I
go
come?
on, sir.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yes, you are audible.
In fact, at the outset, I would like to supplement the view by Professor Anandakumar Giri, and I would like to join the discourse, primarily highlighting, to me, both of them, the economy of permanence and integral humanism of J.C. Kumarappa as well as Deendayal Upadhyaya, they both are dynamic models and both are evolutionary in their approaches. That's my first comment. And as mentioned by Dr. Jose in the beginning, while doing the studies on alternative development as part of a conference at ISEC Bangalore, and primarily while reviewing the work of both perspectives and written works of Kumarappa, Gandhi, and many others, it was a great surprise to us to find certain commonalities between these two great stalwarts. And they are religiously very different in terms of faith, practices, and of course, ideologically, they are miles apart. But still, the philosophical contributions of both of them have a lot of commonalities. For example, I would like to again supplement what Dr. Jose said. The thrust of Kumarappa on alternative development or sustainable development, decentralized economy, Swadeshi, and anti-colonialism. In fact, I would like to call he's a green economist. Maybe he's a green economist from the large sense. Whereas Deendayal Upadhyaya, he's focused on holistic development, Antyodaya, Swadeshi, decentralization, and of course, with thrust on cultural and national values. And whereas Kumarappa's thrust on harmony with nature, I'm sure there are a lot of commonalities between both of them. And I must say, among their own ideological streams, both were moderates. And I also must make a soft criticism. Unfortunately, according to me, both of them did not get the adequate space in their own, even in their own ideological base or ideological followers, frankly, in their respective ideologies. And to sum up my comment, in fact, I would like to mention. In fact, I've also written in one of the articles on alternative developments on JCK, because I understand Mahatma Gandhi proposed his name to be the first finance minister of India, whereas Jawaharlal Nehru refused it. So, had it been accepted by the Jawaharlal Nehru, probably the whole socio-economic political ecosystem of India may have been very, very different. Because I'm sure we would have achieved most of the basic indicators of human development much ahead. Of course, we may not have achieved the status of global economic order and other things. And I must say, to sum up, this discussion, I think we could find a lot of convergence in the views of Kumarappa as well as Upadhyaya, basically on alternative development and green economy and integral humanism. And I'm sure there is a need for a lot of serious and intense research by academicians and researchers, because I'm sure both their views and both their perspectives, both their things, though it's dynamic and evolution in nature, I'm sure it could contribute in a great way towards achieving SDGs. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now I invite Mr. Sudhir Gandutraji to share his reflections and his opinions. Mr. Sudhir Gandutra, please. Over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. I have written this in the chat also, so I will read it from there to be precise. These are my views, and without pretending to be a historian or a person with great knowledge of many ideologies, I feel it is not fair to make this comparison between these two persons being discussed here. If we talk of integral humanism presented here by someone who started the Jan Sangh and then he became BJP, and that became BJP now, is getting undeserved attention in the sense of some kind of praise. This ideology, if it can be really called so, has failed simply because their own party organization has no relation to the word humanism in any sense. Humanism does not place an organization at the top, so it fails. Humanism does not support violence in any form, so it fails. Like this, we can go on and on, but that, in my opinion, would be a waste of time and energy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, I invite Dr. Devan Banerjee to share it. Please, sir, share your reflections.
Yeah. My greetings to all of you. And thank you, Professor Ananta, for organizing another such important webinar. And this time I'm able to attend this one, and I found it extremely interesting. In fact, I was on the road, and so when I saw J.C. Kumarappan Upadhyaya, I got excited. While even without reaching home, I started listening to it. Thank you so much. My only observation, based on this wonderful comparative study of Dindayal Upadhyaya and J.C. Kumarappa, is I see a clear focus on the part of J.C. Kumarappa on the environment. The whole concept of environmental stewardship, along with that, the emphasis on sustainable development, makes a huge contrast between with Dindayal Upadhyaya, who has who is more focused on on holistic development of person, the people, so to say. The focus is here on the people and the culture. People, culture, and focus of J.C. Kumarappa is clearly on environment. Of course, I understand that when he came up with this idea of environmental stewardship, he is certainly informed by the Genesis in the Bible. And you see that religious rooting of these two, somewhere making a difference between the two. But I'm also very excited when this professor who presented this paper today, in trying to reconcile between the two, harmonize synthesis between the two, and making a sense of both together is a wonderful initiative that this group has taken up. And I thank you so much for coming up to see difference as well as the similarities, and how do we take take this discourse forward to make a sense of the political processes that we are confronted with. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Alfred to share his observations and reflections. Alfred, please.
Thank you, ma'am. So I have very limited understanding of both J.C. Kumarappa and Dindayal Upadhyaya. So I don't know what I'm going to say. It does make sense. But I would like to agree with what Sudhir sir has put forward. I understand that both Kumarappa and Deen Dayal Upadhyaya focused on Swadeshi movement, anti-colonialism, decentralization, and environment-based development and all. But I could not agree with the fact that someone who was part of like J.C. Kumarappa, like a profound Gandhian whose main idea was indeed secularism and development of India, with someone who put forward a very dangerous ideology which focuses on dividing India, like is whole idea of this like this whole idea of one India, like what Deen Dayal Upadhyaya has put forward. I could not get like how can they be put forward in one sentence, in the sense like comparing their biography, like, and mentioning how they are alike. I understand the development, uh, like the development part behind their like life and the comparison, but I could not agree with the other fact. So I would like to have some clarity on that.
Thank you. Thank you for your query. Now I invite Mr. Akhil Anand to share his reflections and his queries, if any. Mr. Akhil Anand, please.
Hi, ma'am. Sorry, I joined late, so I could not hear the complete conversation. I will try to comment in the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Now I see
Thank you.
Mr. Professor M.Y. Mashoor sir in online. Please, sir, share your reflections and your thoughts. Professor M.Y. Mashoor sir. Hello, sir, can you hear us? Professor Mashoor sir. Okay, as he's taking some time, now I invite Professor Jose Chattukulam to answer all these queries and share
Yeah.
views.
Before that, Professor Chattukulam, Minati, you may have some thoughts. Please share your thoughts, please.
Oh, thank you, Anantbhai. Actually, I am I had a few queries, but by all these questions has been asked already. But actually, I wanted to ask the exact question you asked, whether Deen Dayal Upadhyay was believing in his open faith or something. But one more thing also I was thinking, maybe little more studies required. In psychological point of view, if the two person have different backgrounds, completely different backgrounds and different education, how it impacts the thoughts at the end. So that one I need to get little more clarity after listening to Professor Jose Chattukulam. If any, I will just share again. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very much thankful to all. I do agree with the last query or question raised by our learned scholar. I do agree. We need more studies, more research, and more observation as far as these two intellectual giants are concerned. I do agree that. And there are a lot of the limitations in my paper. This is only a beginning in that context. And Professor Giri and Professor Girishan mentioned, I all join with them in sense that both the philosophy of integral humanism and the economics of permanency as not static, is a kind of a dynamic process. Because it is dynamic process, it is evolutionary in nature. So my point is that there, again, we have to revisit the ideology of integral humanism and the economy of permanency, and try to develop these concepts, and also try to develop to find out the contradictions and a kind of similarities, and to try to if possible, to develop some kind of a synthesis. This is what there. So the point is that there, it is not purely on the thesis and antithesis and synthesis, but at the same time also in Deendayal Upadhyay's contributions also, you can see that there in the initial stage, some kind of thesis and antithesis and synthesis. Both the case, that the similar the case of J.C. Kumarappa is case also. But these two things, you take that there some amount of thesis, antithesis, some that synthesis is which is developing. That is what I mentioned, that there is some kind of Upadhyaya Kumarappa framework to look these issues in a different kind of framework. This is what they. You see, look into the Deendayal Upadhyaya's contribution. And see, he was a General Secretary and President of Janasangh. And another thing also, very interesting thing is that the integral humanism is actually the collection of three, collection of three talks he delivered in connection with the Janasangh. This is what there. But I could not find out a single word or a single reference in his book. And he talks in favor of violence. Nowhere I could see that there. Violence, absolutely it is not there. As far as the integral humanism, it is there. I would like to say that, you see, a kind of, this is actually my position is that there, Upadhyaya is a secular in his approach. Secular in the sense that there, it may some kind of a difference between my concept of secularism and another person's concept of secularism. But I feel that there he has taken a stand of on secularism there. See, take the case of Kumarappa. He born and brought up in a Christian traditional family, but in the entire process, what I could see that there, he actually could understand and could take the Indian roots and the Indian culture. And one may sometimes misinterpret in the sense that there he may take the position of a kind of a different kind of ideological position as far as his understanding is concerned. No. His understanding of the Hindu ideology and the Hindu way of culture and the Indian roots and traditions, and he's a true kind of Indian in that sense, and is a secular. And the Deendayal Upadhyaya, I could say that there, see, we can see only young Upadhyaya. Because what I mentioned that there at the age of 51, he died. And what kind of the positions he have taken, all these issues. And I feel that there, we actually missed some kind of a synthesis. The final culmination of all his thoughts and understanding, because he died at the age of 51. But integral humanism, again, I would like to argue that there is no reference on division among the Indian society, no. No reference, no element of violence, no. It is purely in that sense, he's a secular. Secular. What mentioned that there, the one India means it's actually a different concept. One India does not mean that there, and he tried to homogenize the entire Indian culture. No, that is not I'm getting from the from my understanding and reading of integral humanism. Is a kind of a different kind of thought as far as this is concerned. And the Gandhi and the difference between Gandhi and Nehru, see, Gandhi's basic approach was there. He has taken the village and the society as the basic unit, whereas Pandit Nehru and his are concerned, he has taken the individual as the basic unit, and there is very fundamental difference between these two approaches. And I may not be in a position to say that there is a kind of some kind of a harmonious linkage or some kind of a synthesis between Nehru and Gandhi. It is not possible from my to see that. But again, I'm very strong, and strongly I would like to argue that there I could find out a lot of similarities on these two philosophies of integral humanism and economics of permanency, and not simply because of one or two or three items. No, that there. The point is that there you take the entire a kind of integral culmination of all the philosophical contributions and concepts of Deen Dayal Upadhyaya, and that is nothing but the integral humanism. And he applied how the body, how it functions, in the way how its society this is moving. And that integral humanism means he never tried to say that they are arguing for a one India in that sense, to kind of some kind of a harmonizing all things there. But he could find out very close relationship between the individuals, the society, the state, and the nature. That is what they are, the integral humans. Look to the Kumarappa's contribution also. He also could say that there is a kind of integral humans. I would like to say that there, the integral humanism of Deen Dayal Upadhyaya is nothing but economics of permanency. We take the Kumarappa's contribution of economics of permanency, that is also integral humanism. Integral humanism is there in the Kumarappa's contribution of economics of permanency. That economy of permanency, all elements are there in the integral humanism. All the elements of integral humanism are there in this also. This is what there. Of course, I'm not rejecting the other side of the issues and challenges, and definitely this aspect we have to take it again and revisit the contributions of these two scholars, and again revisit the integral humanism and the economics of permanency. And one could again, there should be a kind of synthesis is something different that we all are waiting for, that kind of analysis and understanding and revisit is very much essential. That is what there it is actually missing. Unfortunately, again, why see, deliberately I'm using that word unfortunately, these two philosophers and their contributions, and we try to put it in a different basket, and we felt that these two baskets are really a kind of a watertight compartment. It is not in that sense. We need to see that there the relationship, the commonalities, the common threads, and this is what there and a basic attempt in that direction, a simple attention in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anant bhai, some closing remarks from you. Hello, Anant bhai, can you hear me?
Yes, Minati, you can conclude now, please.
So any closing remarks from you?
Minati, you can conclude.
Okay. So I, Minati Pradhan, on behalf of Swadhyay Sahachakra and Vishwanidam Center for Asian Blossoming, would like to thank our today's speaker, Professor Jos Chattokulam, for very, very engaging and means leading the way, making us to learn more about these two philosophers. And this I hope the conversation will continue further. So thank you, sir. Thank you so much for invoking this so much of curiousness about this subject. And I also would like to thank Professor K. Girishan for being a co-presenter of our today's session. And I also would like to thank the people who are present in our webinar today: Professor Gyan Luigi, Mr. Sudhir Gondotra, Professor Deven Banerjee, Alfred, Akhil Anand, and Professor M.Y. Masoor, and the people who have joined us in our Facebook platform and as well as in our YouTube platform. Pardon me if I have forgotten anybody's name, but I really thank all of you for your very insightful contribution to this webinar, and looking forward to learning more with all of you. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Professor Ananda Kumar Giri.
Thank you, Professor Chatukulam. Thank you.
Dr. Girishan,
Thank you all,
thank you
friends.
for your excellent support. The putting the PPT in the nice place.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Anantabhai. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Hi, Sudhir bhai. Namaste. Thank you.
Namaskar. Namaskar.
Namaste.